Indonesia's foreign and defense ministers have met their Japanese counterparts in Tokyo. They've pledged a stronger alliance between their countries, including military cooperation. The situation in Myanmar was also on the agenda. Michio Ishida joins us live now from Tokyo with more. Michio, what does the visit say about Yoshihide Suga's policy on ASEAN amid US-China tensions that we're seeing in the region?
Well, yes, the first countries Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga visited after taking office last September were Vietnam and Indonesia. So it indicates that he's been placing importance on ties with ASEAN, and particularly at this time when there's a provocative action by Chinese vessels continuing in the East China Sea. Chinese vessels have been reportedly coming near the Senkakus, which China also claims and calls Diaoyi, almost every day, and sometimes reported to be chasing Japanese fishing boats. Now, Chinese vessels are common threats to Japan and Indonesia. And Defense Minister Nobuo Kishi, during a news conference, mentioned his concern of China enacting the Coast Guard law, allowing it to use force. And he said it's an attempt to change the status quo, which cannot be tolerated. And Indonesia and Japan, by signing the first transfer of defense equipment and technology, aim to secure a free and open Indo-Pacific region. Now, this is a concept Japan has been working on most closely with the United States, Australia, and India. And it wants more countries with similar values to be part of this framework. And that includes Indonesia.
And Michio, Japan also has extensive business interests in Myanmar. What do the ministers have to say about the situation there?
Well, Japan has been condemning Myanmar military and police for the use of force against civilians, and that the military should be protecting the lives of the people from foreign threats. Now, Indonesia's Foreign Minister, Ms. Retno Marsudi, condemned the act and called it unacceptable. And both sides sought for the restoration of democracy, peace, and stability in Myanmar. Now, the Indonesian ministers, Foreign Minister and Defense Ministers, have earlier met with Prime Minister Suga to update ASEAN's stance on the situation in Myanmar and agreed that they will all stay on the same page regarding the situation. Now, Japan does have interest in Myanmar in terms of its economic and business interests, and it has remained in touch with the Myanmar so-called military government. Japan's ambassador to Myanmar has had a face-to-face meeting with Myanmar's military government so-called foreign minister. And the ambassador has called for the military regime to stop its violence. But Japan is still committed to remain engaged in Myanmar, investing heavily, and 400 Japanese companies remain operating in Myanmar.
Michio, thank you very much for that. Michio Ishida there in Tokyo.